Hey everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer, and welcome back to a new game of 2d6 Realm by Toby Lancaster. Today I am in the dungeon. My hero Tanidam is on level 1. If you were following in the previous videos, I used the first 5 rounds of the turn to explore the area around me, and then it turns out I have no money. So I chose round 6 to head down to the dungeon. As soon as I can find the secret door back up to the surface, I will return, and that will end the round. And I think I'll have to mark it as visit town because you can only do that once per turn. So, and then I could return to the dungeon on the next turn if I choose to do so. But right now I've got 10 gold, which is more than enough to pay my taxes. But let's keep going. When I finished up in the last episode, I was here in room number 4. I fought a guard, and I avoided, I think, a falling bookcase. I can't recall. So we have an unlocked door here and a corridor here. So we can keep moving and see what happens. Now, right now I'm playing, since I'm in the dungeon, I'm actually using the 2d6 Dungeon Tables Codex, not the Realm book. So let's see. I'm going to go north, and I rolled a 4-1, which is a corridor. It goes over 4 and up 1. So what I'll do is I'll send it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 1. Like that. Now what I didn't do, I'm going to roll 3 dice to see if the secret door is on this wall. So there's 3 squares or 3 areas here that have a wall. You roll a d6 for each one of them. And if you roll a 6, you find the secret chute. I did roll a 6, so I will put the chute right here. You can only use it once per dungeon level. You use it to basically return to town. It's sort of a back door out. But we're going to keep going. We're going to follow this corridor and see where it goes. I have a 4x2 room. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4x2. Does it have any exits? 6 is 3 exits. Well, I'll count this as 1. I'll put 1 here, and I'll put 1 here. Now, what you're ultimately working towards on a level is to find the stairs down to the next level. And the rule book basically says, look, when you're beyond 50% or 75% of the dungeon, when you start having less room available, you're going to eventually find that room. So right now I've got plenty of room to explore. We are now at room number 5. And after you roll for the size of the room, you roll to see what kind of room it is or what you encounter in that room. And for that, I'm going to the level 1 tables. And the level 1 tables for level 1 rooms is on page 42. I'm just going to write that down here so I can remember it. So page 42, you roll a d6 and you roll 2d6, a primary and a secondary. My green is always my primary. So I rolled a 5-5. And I usually write it down on here so I remember what table to look at. And when I go to 5-5, I find that it is an abattoir. Let me read it to you. It is a unique room, by the way. It will only appear once per level. 2 large carcasses of unidentifiable animals hang from the ceiling to one side. A butcher works away at one, turns and attacks, cleaver raised. Use the artisan stats. Now it says that this room has wooden doors, so I will draw wooden doors. Are they locked? 2. 2 is unlocked, so they're both unlocked. And we need to find the artisan. Find the level 1 cards. No, these are higher level. So the level 1 cards, I've got them in, but there it is, artisan, very top of the deck, alphabetical order. So the artisan has a certain number of health. He has 3 hit points. He only gives me 5 XP, which isn't a lot. He does have 1 shift. And he blocks on secondary 1s. I use red dice for that. And distracts on secondary 6s. So the armor is the 1, and I guess a distract is an action. There are certain things where you'll ignore non-armor or armor-related deflects, but that's a ways away. Okay, let's see. It is turn number 1. I have 2 shifts, And I will roll a primary and a secondary. And what I'm looking for is a 2-3 or a 6-4. And the shift of 2 allows me to modify one or both dice. These are points. You just basically can increase a die up or down 1, and I can do it by 2 points. So I rolled a 5-4. Well, good for me. I want to do a 6-4, so I will use one of my 2 shift points to turn this 5 to a 6. And with a 6-4, it does d6 plus 2 damage. Now, he has 3 health. I can't roll anything less than a 1. It's d6 plus 2, and he does not block on a... Oh, you know what? That was a 5. That was a 5-4. What did I... Maybe it was a 4-5. That's what it was. But with 2 shift, I can make it a 6. This was a 5. I can make that a 6-4. Always make sure your primary is your first die. Sometimes I get tired and I forget to do that. So it's d6 plus 2. I cannot roll anything less than a 1. 5 plus 2 is 7, so it automatically kills him. And I get 5 points, so I'm up to 114 XP. But more importantly, I get a treasure, or at least a treasure roll. On his card, it says roll on pouch table 1 at -2. Pouch table 1 is on page 23. So I will go to 23. I will roll 2d6 and add them. It can go from 2 to 12. But here I'm going to subtract 2 from my total. I rolled a 9 minus 2 is 7. A few coins rattle in a pouch. Gain 3d6 silver. 7, 9. I got 9 silver. And 2d6 gold. 9 as well, so 19 gold. And that is it. It also says on his card, roll on pouch table 1, but you also get 2d6 silver. So I get another 2d6 silver. 12. 12 plus 9 is 21. Okay. And we'll put him aside. He is defeated, and I have 2 doors to go through. I always like to go north and sort of curve around to come back, so I'll take the north door. And I rolled a larger, well, not too big, 5 by 3. So 5 this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 3. How many exits? 1 is no exits. All right, so we have encountered a dead end. And that happens. Now, there's a rule in the rule book that says if you ever get to a point where you just can't move further into the dungeon, you can mark a secret door, but once you go through it, you can't go back. So let's say there was a secret door here, and I went through it. I would not be able to come back and use the chute. So you got to be careful with those secret doors, but I've got other areas to explore. I'm going to walk back, and I'm going to use this this door right here. We're going to go through it. This was, before I do that, I might want to actually see what's in this room. Here I am ignoring it. So this room is going to be a 2-4. And a 2-4, page 42. 2-4 is a washroom. There are basins set in worktops here and buckets of soapy water. It is damp. Roll a d6. On a 1 to 3, a fungal creature attacks. If you survive, roll on TAT 1. All right, so a 1 to 3. I rolled a 5, so no, a fungal creature does not, and I didn't survive, or I didn't have to survive, so I don't get to roll on that. And this is a unique room. All right, so nothing there to report in. We'll go back and we'll go through this door. And a 5 by 2. 5 this way, 2 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many exits? 3. Excellent. I'll count that as 1. We'll mark 1 here, and we'll mark 1 to the south. And this is going to be room number 7. And it is a 5-2. Didn't I just roll a 5-2? I did. Sleeping quarters again, which I'm pretty sure is not a unique. It's not unique. And the doors are random, so I'll have to roll for those. Behind 2 curtains are 2 beds. Someone jumps up. Roll on L1R. So level 1 R is a religious figure. L1R. Yeah, level 1 religious, page 38. So I'll come back to 38. Level 1 religious. Roll a d6. I rolled a 1, which is a crazed preacher. All right, let's bite him. Crazed preacher is right here. Again, these level 1s are so, I mean, they're dangerous. I've got 20 health, and he's only got 4. But it's hard to get XP from them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 XP, 1 shift, blocks on primary 4s. Primary 4, excuse me. I used green for that. All right, primary 4. Thankfully, none of my attacks use a primary 4, so all my attacks will do their full damage. I will go ahead and attack, and I roll a 4-1. With 2 shift, I can get this to a 3, but I can't get that to a 2, and I miss. So the crazed preacher comes at me and rolls. I'll re-roll that. A 4-4. With 1 shift, it can make that a 3. 4-3 is a wild scratch. D6 minus 3 damage. I don't block on a primary 4 or a secondary 3, so I'll take the full damage. D6 minus 3. 2 minus 3 is no damage. Turn number 2. I will strike out. I'll re-roll that. A 1-4. Well, again, with 2 shift, I can't turn that into anything, and I miss. Actually, hold on. No. I can turn that to a 2 and that to a 3. Never mind. Which is D6 plus 1 damage. It doesn't block, so as long as I can roll a 3 or higher, he dies. All right. He gives me a roll. He gives me 5 XP, so I'm up to 119. And he gives me a roll on Religious Pouch Table 1. And I'll bet you that's right here. Religious Pouch Table 1 was on page 23, was it? Nope. Yep. Pouch tables are on 23. I'll bet you Religious is on the next one. Religious Pouch Table 1. Roll 2d6, add them together. That is a 10. There is a necklace inside made of ebony beads and a capsule containing scarlet aureovatus. So there are these herbs and spices that you can find that you can make medicine with them. So scarlet aureovatus is one of those. But by itself, it won't do anything. And it says a necklace of ebony beads. Write down everything you find, because sometimes the material it's made of can be used to make an offering to one of the gods of the land, and you can get favor points. And favor points can be traded in for favors. All right, room number 7 is done. I'll star that so I don't forget that I've got it. And we have to roll to see what type of doors are in this room. So for that, it said random. So I'll be rolling on this table, a primary and secondary. I rolled a 2-3, which is wooden doors. All right, so they're wood. And then you have to roll to see if they're locked. Roll a d6. I rolled a 1, unlocked. All right, excellent. We'll go through the north one. 1-1. Well, on doubles, you always roll an extra. So it's going to be a 7 by 2. 7 by 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by 2. That's a weird looking room, but okay. How many exits? 6 is 3. All right, I'll count this as 1. We'll put 1 here, and we'll put 1 over here. And this is going to be room number 8. And it is a 3-6. Let's see what that is. 3-6 is an indoor camp. Bet you there's going to be somebody here. In a corner, 2 chairs are placed at a burner. The room is warm. On a shelf is a ball of twine. Well, I'm going to write down twine because if I kill these guys, I'll take it. Someone is sitting by the burner. They attack. Roll on L1W -1. L1W is a worker. Level 1 warden, is on page 38. And I roll at -1. Level 1 worker right here. Roll a d6. Well, you can't roll lower than a 1, so it's going to be a thug. And it says, 3-6, it says, if you survive, roll on IAUT1. So there'll be an interrupt. All right, let's play. Let's go fight a thug. Here it is. I'll put this up on the screen for you. Let's see, it's got 1 shift, 3 health, which, 1, 2, 3. It blocks on secondary 4s, which is bad for my slash because it's -1, so it would be doing d6 plus 1 instead of d6 plus 2. So secondary 4s. The good news is he's only got 3 health. And we are back at turn number 1. I will come out swinging, and I rolled a 2-5. With 2 shift, I can get this down to a 3. 2-3, which is d6 plus 1. As long as I roll more than 2, I rolled a 5, and I defeat him. Okay, 6 XP, so I'm up to 125. And I'm trying to remember, I think it's 200 XP where I level up to level 3. Let me double check that. When I'm level 1, you go to level 2 at 100, 500. So when I hit 500 XP, I will level up to level 3. Okay. He has no treasure, but I still have to roll on IAUT1, which is on page 36. And the interrupts are sometimes good, sometimes they're bad. You just never know. And we'll roll 2. 6-4. 6-4 on the interrupt is tucked to one side of the room is a body. It has been looted apart from a slip of paper with a header that reads contract, and below collect 5 rat tails. We have the rat tail quest. It says, if you collect 5 rat tails, you can return this to the exterminator at town to collect 5 gold. So 5 rats and 5 gold is the reward. You know, if you get lucky and you encounter that many rats, but rats are kind of, I think they're really limited to level 1 and 2. So after a while, you won't even get any more. All right, let's keep going. I forgot to roll the doors. Let's see. Room number 8 was 3-6. 3-6 was indoor camp. Wooden doors. Okay, so these are wooden as well. Are they locked? 2. No, they are not locked. So I can go through them. We'll go north. It's a corridor. It goes up 6. So over. Technically, it goes over 1 and up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. That. Just coloring it in or shading it in so you can see it a little better. All right. Where does the corridor lead? It leads to a big room. 4 by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can't go 6 vertical, so we'll just go an extra one over, and we'll make it a 1, 2, 3, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 25. Close enough. How many exits? 5 is 2. I'll put 1 going this way and 1 going this way. And the room it's going to be 5-2, which I just rolled. It's another sleeping quarters, which means it's going to have one of those 5-2 is crazed preacher. Uh-oh, never mind. 5-2, sleeping quarters. Roll on L1R. Okay, so it may not be necessarily a crazed preacher. Let's roll and see. It's a 6, which is a cultist and a crazed preacher. Well, there you go. A cultist and a crazed. We can do both. All right, crazed preacher and cultist. Now, the cultist has more health. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fight the crazed preacher first, and then I'll move over to the cultist. But they both will attack me. The crazed preacher has 4 health. and 1 shift. And roll blocks on primary 4s, which is good because none of my attacks do that. We're on turn number 1. I will attack with a 5/4. With one of my shifts, I will make that a 6/4. It does not block. It is D6 plus 2, so as long as I roll a 2 or higher, he dies. All right, easy enough. And that gave me, what, 5 XP? I'm up to 130. But now, the cultist will attack. The cultist has 5 health. It has 1 shift, and it blocks on secondary 4s as well. No, primary 4s was the crazed preacher. Cultist is secondary 4s. All right, it swings at me and rolls a 4/3, which with 1 shift, it can get this to a 5, but not a 4. It misses. Turn number 2. I swing at it. I got a 6/1. Well, unfortunately, with my 2 shift, I can't get this to a 6/4. I miss. He swings with a 5/2. With 1 shift, he can only get this to a 5/3, not a 5/4. He misses. Turn number 3. 5/5. Maybe I can. I can do this a 6 and this a 4. I know he blocks on a 4, but this one does D6 plus 1 damage, and I can actually get to it versus a 2/3. So it does D6 plus 1 because he takes off 1 damage for this secondary 4. 3 minus 1 is 2 damage. So he's got 3 health left. He swings at me with a 2/3. With 1 shift, he can't get that to a 5. Turn number 4. We both get a bonus shift. It's like we're tiring out and everybody's making mistakes, so it gets easier to get your hit in. I will swing with a 2/4. With 3 shift, I can get this to a 5/4, but that's not good enough. So I'm going to have to settle for a 2/3, but it doesn't really matter because it does D6 plus 1. As long as I roll a 2 or higher, he dies. All right. I get 6 XP, so I'm up to 136. I get a roll on RPT1, Religious Pouch Table. That's on page 20. Religious Pouch Table 1. That's on page 25. Okay. Roll a D6. Oh, no, 2D6, and you add them. I rolled an 8. 8. There are some smooth pebbles. And, where was it? Some cathodo spines. Okay. The cathodo spines are another one of those things that you might be able to mix together. I don't think cathodo and what was the other one I had? Scarlet Aureovatus. So the game has these cards, and these are in the book. If you don't want to buy the cards, you can print your own cards or just use the book. Here's Scarlet Aureovatus, and here's cathodo spine. So it'll tell you here that it can make certain things. The only things these two have in common is nothing. So it lists the items it can make and the items it can make, but they don't have any overlap. So these two are just waiting to find something else to mix them with. All right, let's go back to room 5-2 because I beat it. It was a 5-2 damp space. Hold on. Crazed Preacher. What in the world? Sleeping quarters, yeah. All right, so roll on L1R, you see a religious carving. Roll on RATT1. I forgot to do that on the previous room, but that's okay. I'll just skip it. RATT1 is religious artifact, page 27. Okay. Roll 2d6, add them together. That is a 6. Religious artifact table 6. Someone has left a bottle of wine. Gain a ration. All right, plus 1 ration. And a bottle of wine. Sounds good. All right, that was room number 9. I forgot to mark that here. We need to see what the doors are here. So I think it said random. 5-2 was random doors. Okay, so we go back to the table and roll on the random doors, which is a 2-2, which is wooden doors. A lot of wooden doors on level 1. Are they locked? 1. Unlocked. Okay. Let's go through this door and see if we can clear out this area, and then we'll start moving this way. I rolled a 6-3. Good sized room here. 3 over and 6 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Any exits? 2 is 1 exit. We'll put that right here. This is going to be room number 10, and it is a 4-2. Have I rolled 4-2 before? No, I haven't. Okay, 43, 42. 4-2 is an abandoned guard post. An abandoned post. There's a dusty table here, upon which sits a dry pewter tankard and an empty bowl. There is something on the table. Roll on TAT1. Okay, TAT1. Table 1, page 31. All right, let's see what's on the table. Nothing here. Table, 2d6. Adam, that is a 10. There's a piece of armor that is broken. Roll on ART2. It is missing leather strap fastener. So if you find leather straps, you will have a new pair of armor. Our ART2 is on page 15. That's cool. ART2, armor type 1. Okay, roll a d6. It's a 2, a padded tunic. Padded tunic, damaged, needs leather straps. Okay, cool. All right, that was room number 10. And I did roll 1 exit, but I forgot to roll to see what type of exit. 4-2 was Vanguard Press. It is wooden doors. Is it locked? 6. All types of doors are locked. So I'm not going to worry about it. Well, you know what? I will. What you do is if you find a locked door, you can wait, and a patrol will show up. So I go to L1P for level 1 patrol. It's on page 38, and I'll end up having to fight something, but it will unlock the door. Level 1 patrol is right here. Roll a d6. 5, a guard. All right, so I have to fight a guard. The guard has 1 shift. It blocks on secondary 3s and 5s, and it has 7 health. All right, turn number 1. I will attack. I rolled a 6-2. With 2 shift, I can make this a 6-4. It does not block on secondary 4s. It does d6 plus 2 damage. 3 plus 2 is 5. He's down to, or she is down to 1 health. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 health. She swings at me with a 4-5. With 1 shift, can't get that to a 6. If you get it to a 5, you can't get that to a 3. She misses. 2, turn 2. I rolled a 2-6. With 2 shift, I cannot get this to a 2-3. I miss. The guard attacks me with a 2-5. Again, with 1 shift, cannot get this to a 6 or a 5 and misses. Turn 3. I roll a 5-5. With 2 shift, I can make this a 6 and a 4, and it doesn't matter. It's d6 plus 2, only 2 health, and I defeat the guard. The guard has 13 XP, so I'm up to 149. And I get a roll on pouch table 1 at -1. Pouch table 1 at -1 is, add these, 8 minus 1 is 7. 46 copper. 9, 10, 13 copper. And 2d6 silver. All right, that's it for this episode. I try to keep these under 30 minutes, so I'll be back next week. I'll probably have Tanidam return and go up the chute so I can go back to town, buy some stuff. We'll see. Or I may just finish the dungeon out and then return. Well, I'm not sure quite yet what I'll do, but I hope you'll join me in the next episode. Until then, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me on this game of 2d6 Realm. Be back in a week. Everybody, take care.
Check out the new RPG and Wargame newsletter. Each week, the Tabletop Engineer shares news, products, Kickstarters, and much more related to the gaming hobby. It's free to subscribe, so check out the link in the video description below to sign up.